What's up, everyone? Showdown breakdown time. We've got Dallas at home taking on Seattle. Little onslaught. And here to break it down for us, the man himself, Bobbywow, got the spreadsheet, got the cheat sheet going, got the notes, got the captains ready to go.
Wow.
There we are. All right, Bobbywow. Cowboys at home taking on Seattle. Feels like an onslaught game, no?
It certainly looks that way. I think the books see it that way. It's been a tale of two different, completely different teams. Dallas firing on all cylinders, Seattle looking as dreadful as they ever have. Yeah, it's interesting. You can make the case for it, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And let's just get a quick look at usages here. The only real injury is, of course, Kenny Walker being out for Seattle, which does create an interesting prime opportunity. But actually, I wanted to show you something. So getting right into it, what I wanted to show you was some of the DVP numbers here. And if you take a look at Dallas here, they are, the third overall team in the NFL right now. Really good team, according to the power rankings. But defensively, they're much better versus the pass than the rush. So they're allowing 33 fewer passing yards per game than average to opposing offenses. But neutral against running backs. It's an interesting setup here for Sharps anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we're looking,
it's cheap on DraftKings.
Yeah, we're looking for that one piece on Seattle that makes it work, and Charbonnet is one of those potential ones. If we take a look at Seattle defensively, defensive metrics, you see here again exactly the opposite. They're allowing 20 more passing yards per game above team averages, while neutral against the run.
Yeah.
So pretty chalky. I'm going to call that a chalky setup, Bobbywow. It's like what you would expect and what you kind of want in a game like this. So last week was really interesting because Brandon Cooks went bananas a little bit via the pass. Put up the big score on Thanksgiving. You needed Brandon Cooks to win anything. And now Brandon Cooks is priced all the way up like a true number 2 wide receiver. How do you feel about that?
He's pricey. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to the write-up, but he's overpriced in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a little priced up. So if you take a look at the wide receiver sort of snap counts from the past week or so, and I've gone to dark mode because people say it's hard to see it. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys can see this a little better at home. I never know. But
I can't see the numbers anymore. The colors are popping just nice. Looks like Christmas morning, but it's hard to see the numbers.
It's interesting. I don't find it necessarily easier to read either, but it looks easier to read on my screen, just like on the YouTube screen. It looks little fuzziness. So I'm not sure, but I am betting the under for SB here tonight, or I believe that's what I was leaning before. But to get into this breakdown, so I think it's really important. Tony Pollard 75% of the snaps last week. Dowdle 22%. Dowdle actually got a touchdown last week, which make Dowdle relevant. He could be relevant here in the same kind of way. At wide receiver, all the snaps, CeeDee Lamb 92%, 80% for Brandon Cooks, and then Gallup, Tolbert, and even a little Turpin working his way in there. Even Jalen Brooks, look at him getting a target or 2 on the season. So a lot of kind of turdliness here, but it does look. Do you think Jalen Tolbert has sort of surpassed Gallup at this point as like the WR3?
Yeah, it's weird because Tolbert's been relatively consistent with his snap counts over the last couple of weeks. But what's been happening is with Gallup's snap count decreasing, which was at 80% back in week 5 and has decreased every week, now down to 30%. They've been working in some of the other guys down here, like you mentioned, Jalen Brooks. Turpin's getting more snaps as well. So yeah, Tolbert he's more of the wide receiver 3, but Turpin and Brooks are seeing more snaps as Gallup sees his role decrease too.
Yeah, it's kind of been happening, and Tolbert got a bunch of targets last week at the expense, I would say, of Gallup. So
yes,
interesting, noteworthy. The tight ends, it's Ferguson and Schoonmaker. With Schoonmaker getting some targets last week.
Schoonmaker, right?
Yeah. Wait, Schoonmaker. Oh, that's right. We're gonna fight over how to pronounce his name again. I see it as Schoonmaker, and you say Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker. Josh, remember DFS Up North threw a northern fit. Schoonmaker or whatever.
Yeah, and it sounds like a name from somewhere in the north. So I'm going to go with that. He's correct in how he pronounced it. By the way, DFS Army sweatshirt swag, hoodie, wanted to debut it here on this breakdown.
It's beautiful.
Fresh swag.
Is it soft like the shirts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's nice. Yeah, this is nice quality. This is really soft to wear. It's I don't play around when we get swag. I test out a lot of models before we settle on one. We're giving away some swag. So for DFS Army subscribers, those of you guys who are in the Discord with us, we're going to do a swag contest. I'm going to include one of these sweatshirts in that contest for this weekend. Just a little fun swag contest. So you guys can win one. And Brandon Tan Guy, I'm pretty sure you're on the list of already been sent to. So these hoodies are for 2-time Wall of Champions, and Tan Guy, man, you're on there like 4 times. So you had a recent one, and I believe we held off on your swag till we got this. So got that double XL waiting for you, Brandon Tan Guy. Maybe triple XL. Everybody's triple XL, Bobbywow. It's amazing.
We've covered this. We got a lot of double X and triple X in DFS Army.
Yeah, we got to order a lot of those. All right, let's shift over to Seattle. With the tight ends, of course, 70% Ferguson, 40% Schumacher. Yeah, I think both are going to be in play. So
I think one interesting thing to mention on the tight end note is Peyton Hendershot was designated for return from IR, and they decided not to activate him. I think they activated a tight end, a different tight end. Princeton Fant was elevated from the practice squad. So all that to say, Hendershot was never going to impact DFS production in any way outside of maybe limiting some of Schoonmaker's reps. That's not going to happen anymore. So play it as it is.
Yeah, it looks like Schoonmaker is going to be that guy, and he might be one of those interesting punts. I think a lot of people are going to try to roll 5-1 Dallas, and that's just one of those extra names that you're going to throw in there. I did already make some lineups, and it is not difficult to make a 5-1 at all. Like it's
really,
yeah, it's not.
I'm curious to see what you were building
with an expensive, and it's not difficult even with an expensive captain. Like even with Dak or Lamb, it's really very doable, as you'll see.
FanDuel's tougher.
Yes, it's always going to be a little tougher. It's because Charbonnet is so cheap. It really just makes it work. But let's flip over to the Seattle side here, where, it hasn't been that great of a season for this offense in general. Geno a little bit off. Had a couple good games recently, but it hasn't been that great this year in general. Zach Charbonnet has taken over as the lead back. And if you look at last week, Bobbywow, when you highlight it, you could see it, but 87% of the opportunities he was on the field the whole game.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big. And some targets, 14% target share. He got most of the carries as well. So nothing you can say about Charbonnet except you're getting a workhorse right now in this game in a matchup where, even though I don't like Seattle's offense in general, the best matchup is to the running back.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping the game log Warriors decide to get scared of Charbonnet given the last couple of weeks, because he's had, been in a similar situation with Kenneth Walker out and just hasn't been putting up very good numbers. But I think tonight that changes, and so hopefully we get him at a little lower ownership because of those recent games.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to answer this question on the 5 Cowboys here because it distracted me. Why play a Seattle captain? Just play a Cowboys captain. But I think that, Seattle captain 5 Cowboys would be really unique anyway for that person. All right, let's continue on here. And at wide receiver, do we know who's covering who? So which Dallas defensive backs, I mean, their D backs are really good, but is there a matchup here that stands out between Metcalf, Lockett, and JSN, all 3 of whom are effectively now on the field all the time?
I think Lockett is the guy to target in a game like this tonight. I think, Seattle's offense as a whole has struggled. Their passing game has been really, really rough. And Geno just has not been able to throw the football down the field. I think we see the Seattle dial up some shorter passes to Lockett And so we could see that PPR upside coming into play big time on DraftKings. He's priced really well. And I just think he's the guy they need to get involved if they want to try and stay competitive. So Metcalf will get his targets, no doubt about that. But I think Lockett might be the better option on DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I'm gonna trust it. Even JSN, I don't know what the pricing is for Jackson Smith and Jigba, but at this point, effectively, they're all being kind of similar. Metcalf and Lockett equal on target share on the year at about 24%. But JSN sort of not too far behind at 16%. Last week, it was definitely a DK Metcalf target fest for whatever that's worth. But those things shift back and forth on this team all the time, and it just depends on the matchup, who's on who.
And the other thing to keep in mind, too, is targets don't necessarily mean catchable passes. DK Metcalf has been targeted a bunch, but Tyler Lockett has been the more consistent fantasy producer. And neither of them have been great, but Geno's struggles have trickled down to all these guys. So just another thing to keep in mind as you build your lineups.
Yeah. The tight end group for the Seattle is really kind of gross. And this is the same shit every week. They play 3 guys. All 3 of them are getting some targets. Fant finally got a couple targets last week, but like on the season, it's been like 1 or 2 per game. Do you like any of these guys?
He's underperformed. I mean, Fant has underperformed his whole career. He came into the league, I think, with the Broncos, maybe.
Yeah, it was a
super
first-round
athletic,
pick.
Studly pass catcher, and just has not met expectations. And he's been bad with Seattle. So yes, all 3 of them work in. None of them are exciting. Put it that way.
Yeah, all kind of low end. That last piece in your lineup, kind of super turds. None of which I would be excited to play this or any week. Let's be clear.
Not even priced like super turds either. That's the worst part.
Yeah, well, yeah, that does make it worse. Let's take a quick look at. I wanted to take a look at overall ownerships, and then we'll jump over to the cheat sheet here. So I'm just gonna go to captain, this is FanDuel. So let me switch over to DraftKings, and again, I am in dark mode. I think it looks better on the domination station than it does on, some of those other things. Or this is like one of the Irish Jeeves. What up? Showed me this little thing you could put on your browser to turn everything into dark mode. So I've been testing it out, trying to see if I like it better. I kind of like the Dom station looking this way. What do you think?
I do too. It looks sharp. The only thing is the numbers are harder to read in the green, but everything else looks so much better.
Yeah, that's something I think if you made your own version of dark mode, that wouldn't be an issue, but it's because it's just a program doing it. But anyway, let's take a look at just some ownership projections just to see where everybody's sort of falling right now at captain. Lamb and Pollard, the obvious 2 top names. Dak Prescott, Zach Charbonnet, Lockett. Here's just a waste of ownership on Geno Smith. Thank you for the 7%. Trash. Ferguson is a bit sketchy. I saw him on your sheet as well. Brandon Cooks, I think, belongs here. Cowboys defense, too low owned.
I agree. And I hate defenses, but I totally agree.
I don't know if it will be after we talk about it here, but Dallas defense has been the nuts captain in 3 out of 6 of these blowout games for Dallas this year.
Yeah, like they do so many things well. And Seattle's offensive line is banged up. A lot of young players, and the Cowboys get after the QB. So I fully agree.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by those by some of that. Let's just take a quick look at the flex and Dak, Lamb, Pollard, of course, all going to be very highly owned. Geno, Zach Charbonnet at 36%. I might go higher than that. It's a little Brandon Cooks overpriced. So interesting the way the ownerships fall this week, Bobbywow. But take us through the captain spot and your cheat sheet here, and let's just dive in. I kind of want to turn off dark mode now because it's making this stuff look crazy, but I gave it a shot.
Yeah, I think turn it off. Let's get that off.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay, never mind. We'll roll with it.
Yeah, you act as if I have like skills at the internet. I don't. So I don't know how to turn it off.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
It's just everywhere now. I can't get it off. It's every website.
It's taken over.
I feel like I'm in incognito mode on Chrome now because of that black background. It's just everywhere.
We're gonna roll without. We're gonna roll through it. So look, I think you kind of captured it up front, and this game looks like it's gonna be a Cowboys blowout, right? I think Vegas. Is it up to 10 points yet? I think it was 9 spread last time I saw it.
It was 9.5 the last I looked, and let me jump on the Sharp app here. And nope, still the same 9.5 depending on the book. So looks like DraftKings is at 9, and it's about to move it to 9.5 also.
Yeah, I mean, pretty obvious here, but CeeDee Lamb is the top guy. He gets all the snaps, gets a ton of the volume for the Cowboys. I know Brandon Cooks has shown some life recently, but CeeDee Lamb he's still the WR1. I don't think that's a question. And he's not that pricey. So I think CeeDee Lamb across the board, captain, flex, he's the highest floor of any play to me, and he's probably got the highest ceiling on the slate as well. So top captain for me.
Yeah, listen, it's hard not to love CeeDee Lamb. I think, of course, he's the top option. Like he's been smashing all year long, and you can afford things on this slate. There's not I don't feel a lot of need to build balanced lineups with like DK Metcalf and CeeDee Lamb, like all these studs from both sides. I don't feel that that's the kind of game this is. And also, let's not forget, this is a showdown on Thursday. They've all gone a certain way, and it's been kickers, defenses, like not competitive games. So this could flip the script. Fine. But if we've been going all year, just like load up on kickers, defenses on these slates, and not playing for competitive games, which they rarely are, we'd be doing really well. So CeeDee Lamb up top, of course. Top option. You've got Dak above Tony Pollard. So I don't know. I kind of think Pollard, Dak, kind of the same shit.
Yeah, it's tough because quarterbacks on DraftKings at captain is typically gross, and Dak even historically has been gross at captain on DraftKings. But the reality is the numbers show that Dak he's up there with anyone else. I think 4 out of the last 5 games, he would have been the optimal captain on the showdown slate.
He's
4 of the last 5.
Yeah,
he's been running for touchdowns, but more importantly, for fantasy purposes, he's been spreading the football around. It hasn't been Lamb getting all of the touchdowns, getting all of the targets. We've seen guys like Cooks get involved, Jalen Tolbert. So that elevates Dak's potential to be the captain when you're not funneling all the production to 1 or 2 guys. I think he scored like 30 plus points. Look at a 40 spot a couple weeks ago. Last
31,
week,
32, 35. Just for comparison purposes, I mean, some of those Brandon Cooks was really close or outscored him.
Just one of them.
Yeah, Lamb got the 42 kind of the same week that Dak went crazy. So like I'm not sure who here's a 44 from Lamb. So in a few of these games, Lamb would have outscored Dak.
He's also
Dak
a little more expensive.
Yeah.
And I think the moral of the story here is Dak is definitely in consideration. As much as any quarterback has been in consideration, in my opinion, this season. Yeah, Dak's up there.
That kind of he gets the Hurts, maybe a little bit of Hurts Allen treatment at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing to note with him though is if you're putting him at captain on DraftKings, make sure you're stacking him with 2+ pass catchers. The only way he's getting there is if he's spreading the football around to multiple guys. So 2+ with Dak at the captain.
Yeah, and again, you can afford this today. It's not an issue. So Pollard, the obvious third in line, and the game can just go a certain way, and it's a big Tony Pollard explosion game. Absolutely in play. Again, Pollard terrible all year.
Yeah, he's been bad. He's been getting better, though. The trajectory looks better for Pollard. But the thing is, they haven't needed him. The Dallas passing offense has been so good that they haven't needed to lean on Pollard. And, that shows in his production. So he's up there. It could happen. Can't forget it's a showdown slate. Anything's in play. But I think Dak and CD are clearly better options.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna issue a challenge to everybody watching this because I want you guys to win. I really do. I have a desire for those of you who watch this, who are DFS Army subscribers, who are DFS Army YouTube channel regulars, who watch the videos, I want you to win. So here's the challenge I'm going to issue for you today. I know a lot of people play the 20 max. Pick one captain and build only for that. For that one captain, being the nuts. And I don't care who you pick. You might choose to go with Lamb and, hey, I'm going to take the most popular one. Cool, right? Build your lineups all around that player getting there. You might choose Dak and, hey, I'm going to build a Dak version. I think there's a pathway for Tony Pollard. There's only one other one I can think of here, Bobbywow, though. Maybe two. I'm going to think of two others. And it's not necessarily who's showing up on the list here, but I don't mind any one of these. But pick one. Let us know in the comments who you are picking and build around it. And let's see how you do tonight. If you pick right, if you pick wrong, you're going to lose all your money. That's okay. That's okay. Do it in a contest size. If you want to test this out and you're like, hey, I don't want to fuck around. Do it in a contest size that doesn't harm your bankroll if you lose. Like, I don't care if you do it in $1 game, in a quarter game, in a $3 game, whatever. But pick one captain and build 20 lineups in a 20 max around one guy. Bobbywow, if I'm forcing you to be in that contest and you have to pick one captain, and again, you're trying to win a tournament. The idea here isn't like, min cash the best I can. We're trying to win a tournament. Which way are you going?
If I have to choose, I'm probably going two, but if I have to choose one on DraftKings, got to take a tournament down, I'm going with Tyler Lockett.
You're going with Lockett. Okay. That's what I want to hear. So contrarian mindset, give me your basis for that. I know what it is, but give it to the people.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a couple things, right? His projected ownership at captain is sub 10%. Probably ends up in the 5% range, which means massive leverage. And in a 20 max, if you're going all in, that's big time. He's priced way down compared to what we're used to seeing Lockett at. And yeah, he hasn't performed as well as we've seen in past seasons, but he's a guy that could explode on a slate like this. He could surprise in this type of matchup. And yeah, I think he's going to be targeted a bunch. I think we're going to see those shorter routes, those shorter passes, and that PPR is going to add up quickly. So combination of those things, I think Lockett is the most intriguing option.
I'm seeing a lot of cool calls here in the chat for this one. Kenny G might actually be doing this. If I know Kenny G,
he'd be my second choice.
Zach Charbonnet.
Yes.
There you go. So it's interesting. Again, the contrarian approach would be take a Seattle guy because no one else is, and that gives you that elevated chance of, hitting the good lineup against fewer opposing lineups, right? That is one way to do this. Yeah.
The field looks at a game like this and says, oh my gosh, Dallas is going to blow out Seattle. That means Correct. Seattle can't score points. Their players can't score points. And so their ownership comes way down. But the reality is, fantasy production doesn't always align with the actual score of the game. So that's the type of scenarios you have to plan around if you're trying to take down a tournament on a showdown slate.
100%. I totally agree. I just wanted to issue that challenge before we kind of went through the rest here. I think Brandon Cooks would have been an interesting choice, though, Bobbywow.
Yeah.
He's a little overpriced, but he's going to be super low owned. And last week, we only had to travel back 1 week to find.
I don't know that it was last week, was it? It was a couple weeks back.
Oh, yeah, 35. So, yeah, against that Giants monster score.
That's the thing with him. He's up at 8K, and he had that big game. So he's shown us he can do it, right? But outside of that, he hasn't put up a score above 17 points. This guy has not done it outside of that game.
Nor has he seen more than 5. Nor has he seen more than 5 targets in a game.
He was on a showdown slate a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were all over him. He scored a touchdown, but he was priced at 3K. He was super cheap.
Yeah. And we were barely playing him for that.
Yeah, it's tough to get up there at 8K. He could do it, but it's tough.
Some other people mentioning Ferguson. I don't know. I don't know about that one. You have him on the cheat sheet.
It depends on what it opens up. It depends on what it opens up for you. That's what it comes down to for me. Yeah. He's put up a 22 score this season. Like Cooks, he's shown he can do it. Very rarely.
That's what it would take.
But it just depends on what it opens up.
Yeah. I like it. And guys, there's no right answer. Just because Bobbywow just said, hey, I'm doing that, doesn't mean you have to do the same thing with Tyler Lockett. I'm issuing the challenge. I really want to hear about the results. So come back on the Showdown Breakdown on Monday, and let's talk about how that worked out for you, especially those of you who picked the right captain. If you picked the wrong captain, I already know how it worked out. It worked out poorly. But if you pick the right captain, look how beautiful the slate works out for you. And sometimes you take it down. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm mentioning this is because my DMs are filled with people, and I shit you not, my DMs are filled with people who are like, dude, since you've been preaching this, just don't spread it out on these 20 max. Just pick one quarterback or two, for example, in main slates, and just pick a captain or two. And I like one. I say or two to qualify it. It should be one. You should take one, sack the fuck up, and try to win a tournament that way. And I've been getting Bobbywow. I've been getting DMs like, dude, ever since I've been doing this, my profitability has gone up. Yes, I lose all the entry fees when I pick the wrong one, but when I've hit the right one, I won a tournament or I came really close. And so I think that's the best way to go. I'm just
and again, all within the mindset of taking down a tournament, right? That is not a cashy approach, a safe approach, but it is the right approach for a tournament takedown, no doubt about it.
That's right. When you're in a tournament, you need to approach it to try to win it. We could talk about cash plays. Cash captain.
CD Lamb, I think, for me.
It's Dak. It's Dak.
Wow.
Yeah. All
okay.
day. Yeah. In cash, you take the upside. You put Lamb in your flex, and Dak is the captain. And I don't like playing quarterbacks and captain.
I know. That's surprising.
But no, it's cash is different. You play the quarterback. You play the floor guy, cash captain. CD Lamb could have a dud.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, for sure. And based on the last 5 weeks, that is 100% the right call. It just feels like at some point this Dak thing is going to fall off the cliff. This is.
It probably will. It probably will. But when it's.
But it is the right play. You're right.
It's going to fall off the cliff when they start to say, you know what, we need to lean run heavy. When they start to make an offensive shift, and sometimes that happens in December. It's like, oh, we're going to run it. We got a good defense, and some of that shit starts to fall into place. Especially with, it's not like the Cowboys have this amazing coaching staff or anything either. It's never the greatest of coaching. Like they win almost despite the coaching staff a lot of the time. So with that being said, we issued a challenge. Would I go about tiers in the same way? That's a really interesting question. This is a live stream, right? I haven't done that, Jose, but yes, I would love to do it if I can figure any one of those tiers where I have an all-in confidence. I would love to do it. It would help your tiers. And especially if you could pick two spots to go all in on and be right about them. But the caveat is in tiers, a lot of times that very obvious looking play is the one that blows up the whole thing. So sometimes, you better, I don't know if you want to choose the most popular player and just go all in, unless it's such a lock that you must, right? So you just have to be careful with tiers because the obvious ones are usually the ones that blow up your tiers lineup. And it's usually some name that you weren't expecting, like Brandon Cooks going for 35 one week. And if you didn't have him, you didn't win. Or that, when Mike Evans goes nuts and it was up against like AJ Brown and Diggs, who both didn't do shit, and Evans just goes bananas. So you got to be careful in tiers for sure. But yeah, fewer variables helps you.
And coming back to Dak too, tying this back up. People are talking about the Dak cliff because we mentioned it. This is not the same scenario as Josh Dobbs against the Bears on Monday. Okay, this is very different. Dak, it's unlikely that Dak falls off the cliff tonight. It's always possible, but this is not similar to when we talked about Dobbs on Monday.
Correct. And we did say about Dobbs, if you watch the show, we said reversion to the mean is probably coming, and it came in that game. We faded him a little bit. I did not play him, but I went under the field on Dobbs for just because we had kind of gone over that and why seems like people are getting a little too high on Dobbs here. I don't know if I feel that way about I don't know if I feel that way about Dak yet. I think they're playing differently, and they're playing this style that Dak has excelled in the past that they've gone away from. So anyway, let's talk about some of the flex plays here. I am not super high. And I didn't mention, I just want to get back to it. I didn't really mention, I don't see playing. I'm not going to have much DK Metcalf as a captain. I'll have a little bit, I'm just going to mix him in a little bit, 3-4% range. I don't really like the Seattle passing offense at all here. I'm going to pay, what do they call that? I'm going to pay, I'll have a nod to Seattle's passing offense, but I think Dallas is just really good at home. They're better at home than on the road. Their stats don't even really show how nasty lockdown they've been at home.
Yeah, that's another good point.
Yeah, it doesn't quite show because they've been less good on the road. All right. In order to make a lineup, Bobbywow, we gotta be able to afford some players. So take me through some of these, I'm going to call them flex options that are saving us some money. And how are you attacking the flex in general for this slate.
Yeah, just to say it out loud as we work our way down, my Seattle Seahawks exposure will be entirely focused around Tyler Lockett and Zach Charbonnet. Those two guys will far and away. I mean, that is where the vast majority of my exposure will be on the Seahawks side. So just to say that out loud, I think those two guys you'll want to build around in terms of Seattle players. Below that range, it gets interesting because we've got Jake Ferguson, who has been okay. He's relatively solid. He has actually, gotten 7+ targets. I thought that was interesting. 7+ targets in 5 of the 10 games he's played. So certainly an option. He's not as safe as you would expect a tight end one of the Dallas offense to be, but he's got upside. We talked about the Cowboys defense also in play. JSN is he's bizarrely priced to me. What do you think about that 5,200 price tag?
Listen, it's a lot better than the 9,600 you have to pay for DK Metcalf. The flip side is JSN has not had like a great fantasy production, but really we're comparing him with the kicker for Dallas. So let's actually if we have to discuss him, it's in the context of Brandon Aubrey, Dallas Cowboys defense, or Jackson Smith and Jigba. And as much as I think Jackson Smith and Jigba will get the best, he'll get the best cornerback matchup, kind of most likely, right, for most of this game. Oh, he's been averaging 4 or 5 targets. Tough matchup. Targets. I mean, this isn't where I'd rather go. I think you're on the right track with the other two. I think JSN is just another name to throw in your 12% exposure mix.
He is to me, he's like that potential leverage play. He's got that high ceiling. I don't think Cowboys defense, I think they do, but JSN's ceiling combined with the leverage is intriguing to me. Brandon Aubrey is a great play, but he's more of that cashy floor play. And the kickers, once you get below the kickers, you don't have that floor anymore. So that's the intriguing part about the kickers tonight. But yeah, I go kickers. Cowboys, Aubrey, and then JSN in that order.
I feel like I've been screaming about how I love the kickers on these showdown breakdowns all year. And they keep being in the nuts.
Yes.
Every time. Like, guys, when you watch a game and the defense is good, at least on one side. So like the best versions of these kicker games are where either the offense is a little bit inefficient and they can't get in the end zone. So they wind up kicking a lot of field goals, or B, the defense is elevated good. I actually think this game, I don't know that I expect like a lot of field goals from Seattle because I think Seattle might not be able to just get into field goal range frequently. But if they do, they're probably kicking a field goal because it's hard to score on the Giants. On Dallas Giants. It's hard to score on the Cowboys. Oh my God, Cowboys fans are so pissed at me. The hate. Called us the Giants. How dare you?
Oh, gosh.
I need my how dare you thingy that I need to queue up a how dare you.
Agreed.
And I'm working on it. My how dare you clip. But Myers.
Both are solid.
Yeah, both guys, right? Brandon Aubrey's just been good this year, right? He's just kicking. I think the Dallas just gets into the field goal range like every drive. Sometimes they score a touchdown and sometimes they have to kick the field goal.
You certainly won't find better floor below this range. Both these guys. I think you mentioned already, the risk with Aubrey is that the Cowboys have been executing in the red zone. They've been turning those red zone opportunities into touchdowns. That could cap his score a little bit if that continues. Myers, the risk with him is Seattle falls behind and they're in touchdown mode early on. But in any case, I really like both those plays, especially if you're looking for a high floor.
My concern with Myers is A, they're not in the red zone very frequently, or B, by the second half, they're back there, but you can't expect a game to go this way. But by the second half, they're behind so much that they give up on kicking field goals. Either one of those is a reasonable thing to happen, but even a 6 might be enough to get there. So that'd be my concern with Myers. I don't see that as an issue with Aubrey because, Dallas is going to be driving and they'll take the field goals throughout the game. All right, so let's talk about this zone below the kickers. I'll throw some things out here. Rico Dowdle. Okay, he's going to get some touches.
He's
for
pricey.
4,200. Very expensive for that. Michael Gallup. Yeah, okay. involved, could score a touchdown.
Touchdown guy, touchdown body. That's the thing with him.
Yeah, he could score a touchdown. I don't think Michael Gallup's like a threat for I don't think he can go Traquan the Chef on us here, but like and break the slate at captain. Although if he did that, he would break the slate for somebody at very low ownership.
Yes,
but I don't think that's what I would expect. That's fine. And Jalen Tolbert might be a better play than him for a little bit less. Do you have it looks like you prefer Tolbert.
I like these younger guys a little bit more in a situation like this, but Gallup is in play too. None of these guys stand out highly above the other. I like getting some younger guy exposure with Gallup. Just seems like he continues to see less and less playing time.
I keep winding up in this situation. 5-1 Cowboys onslaught. Would you rather play Lockett or Charbonnet?
I'm playing Lockett. I think in that scenario that the Seahawks are forced to throw more than they normally would. Maybe Charbonnet sees less opportunities. I'm probably going Lockett, but either way works.
Both good. Yeah, both good. All right. Some other name. I mean, you've got this trio of shitty Seattle tight ends.
They stink, man.
Where the fuck is Fant? He's cheaper than
He's
Disley?
He's 3,200. He's expensive.
What? He didn't even make your list. That's how
he's right there. He's 3,200.
My eyes won't see him. Oh yeah, there it is. Dark mode. But yeah, it's gross, right? And then Disley, I mean, I don't get it. I guess we have to have some exposure to these trash cans, but I don't
Noah Fant has to do a significant amount to end up in the nuts. It's not like he's, toward min price. He's not a basement bargain. He probably has to score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be it's I don't like it. It's just the turds that you have to add in. Now Kenny G in the chat said he was going all in on Colby Parkinson.
To me, I put that in the note. Colby Parkinson should be the TE1. I think he's the best of the three tight ends, but it doesn't matter what I think. Seattle continues to play a rotation with these three guys mixing in. Noah Fant still out snapping them almost 2-1. Target share is very similar, and it's just a turtly trio at this point because
not good.
Too much sharing.
There's nothing else here to worry about. None of this. McIntosh, Jalen Brooks, gross.
I think DJ Dallas would be the other guy that I would draw attention to a little bit. We didn't see it last game. Charbonnet got all the run. It wouldn't surprise me to see a few more touches for Dallas, and he's he can catch passes too. So at 1,200, a couple passes, maybe 25, 30 yards, couple runs, that could get you there at that price. So yeah, he's my favorite cheapy punt.
DJ Dallas more than Colby.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, guys, if you ever want to know how Bobbywow values a play, one easy way to do it is to look at the stars on the cheat sheet. It's spelled out for you. Spelled out. Wait, let me see your stars on wait. Let me take a look at. I'm looking for Cowboys defense. You give them 3. Okay.
Which is more stars than I ever give a defense.
You're a defense hater. We know this. 4 stars on Lockett, which is crazy high for anybody that's not, and 4 on Sharp. So Bobby makes it pretty obvious with his cheat sheets. What
I write the sheet as I play the slate. It is correct. Exactly how I play it. So
yes,
pros and cons of that.
Now, for those of you who aren't subscribed to DFS Army, you should know that Bobbywow does a lot of cheat sheets for us and whatnot. And you want to get signed up at DFS Army as a VIP or whatever to get access to all that good stuff. Bobby and the rest of our crew, Breaking, and myself and my cheat sheets last week. Core Play, Josh Allen. Core Play.
So good.
Derrick Henry. Who was it last week?
Yeah, we Justin Watson scored the touchdown at min price.
Justin
Gabe
Watson.
Davis. We talked about Gabe Davis.
Greg Dortch. Oh, the Gabe Davis call was really so good. And Dortch with 11 targets, 12 targets, didn't have a monster score, but did what you needed. So that's what you're getting at DFS Army. We have a free month offer here. You get a free month of DFS Army. Click on the top of the website there. There's a little button that says free month. You sign up for Sleeper, promo code DFS Army. Sleeper Pick'em. It's an awesome game. We have a tool for it anyway. You sign up there. Hit us up at support at DFS Army. Say, hey, I sign up at Sleeper. Code DFS Army. We give you a free month of DFS Army VIP, plus Sleeper matches your deposit. So you put in $100 on Sleeper, you get $200 to play pick'em games with, and you get a free month of DFS Army VIP, $7.99 value, with the Sleeper tool, and Will Lynn and Sniper drop in plays all day, plus everything DFS and everything else. I don't understand. Go do it right now. If you're not a DFS Army VIP subscriber, you should be one. Go do it. It's free for the first month. Make it really, really easy. If you don't like Sleeper, Prize Picks. You don't like Prize Picks, Owner's Box. We got a bunch of them in there. And the whole idea is get you in here for a month, be part of the community, get in the Discord, see what we're about. And if you like it, you hang around and this becomes your DFS home. And if you don't, you're like, yeah, I checked those guys out and it was kind of cool, but I like doing what I do. And there's no hard feelings. I enjoy watching the videos. Cool. Come on back to the video. On that note, hit that subscribe button. We're going to build a lineup on DraftKings. And Bobby, I told you before, it was not difficult for me to make a lineup with Dak at the helm.
Now, unpack that for me because I want to see what you did here.
Yeah, I think you need like the baseline way I want to build. And again, listen, we got Tony Pollard, we got other players. But if I'm building with Dak, I'm going Lamb. The other way to go is I could just drop TP up top here and kind of do it a little different. But if I put Dak in, I'm getting Lamb in there as well.
Okay.
My only sacrifice in this lineup is going to be Pollard. You can't have all three.
Which is fine.
Okay. So from here, I didn't have any trouble. I go Sharps. I've got kickers. So I'm going Dallas defense, Dallas kicker. And by the way, Myers works too as your kicker. 4,900 kicker number 2, double kicker done.
Interesting. Okay.
This has Charbonnet in it. By the way, you like Tyler Lockett instead? Guess what?
Bam.
No worries.
Like Bobby Filet.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
Now, you might say, all right, this double kicker. Oh, I don't like double kicker. Okay. You like double kicker? I mean, I don't like anybody necessarily that I feel super comfortable with below the kicker price, but you can throw in Gallup. How about Tolbert? Now I don't need to go to Tyler Lockett. Now I can have one Dallas player, and I can get Brandon Cooks in there.
That's interesting. Except that's all Dallas, though. That's the only issue with that one.
I don't mind it. Oh, wait. No, I have Myers in here, don't I? Oh, no, you switch to Myers in this situation. So you switch to the other kicker, Myers. But I do like having Charbonnet in the lineup because I think he's got a high floor. But again, even this with Cooks, I don't like Cooks as much here, but Parkinson, Disley. My point is it's not very difficult to start a lineup with Dak up top, or again, I could switch this for Lamb, and it's kind of the same deal. You go Lamb, you got Dak in there. You go Lamb, captain. You get Dak in there. Take out Brandon Cooks. Dak is going to be like, you don't want Cooks, Lamb, and I don't think Lamb and Cooks go together very well.
They're priced up too much to hit value together.
Yes. I don't like the combination, so I wouldn't have that. But like, there's also a version of this where I can actually get, and I don't think this trio really works either. I don't think so. What do you think about the trio of Lamb? This is too nutless, no?
It's intriguing. I'm probably going to go. I'm going to go Charbonnet and Lockett in that lineup, and then fill the sixth with what's left. But yeah, I
can't quite afford that here. But let's see here. Hold on, Charbonnet. Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, it doesn't work. No, you can't play every stud in. No, you can't play every stud.
But throw Lockett in the captain just for kicks. I want to see if that changes things here with fitting all those guys in.
Okay, actually, let's check that out. Okay, so with Lockett, Lamb, and you could put a $200 turd in there to finish it out. That's Lockett and Sharps, but you don't need Sharps with Lockett. It could be one or the other. So in that case, if I take out Charbonnet, now you have to kind of play one of these cheapy kind of turdly guys like a Turpin or a Tolbert.
So in a Cowboys onslaught, I keep finding myself just a little bit interested in DJ Dallas.
Okay.
As a punt, you put DJ Dallas in there, and then you can do this. I mean, now you go to Dallas to me.
I mean, that's a really interesting kind of onslaught approach as well. The other guy that we didn't mention is in any of these, and I wouldn't handcraft a lineup with him, is Rico Dowdle in the I have an interesting one. Check this out. I call this one Dallas just dominates, right?
Okay.
You put Pollard in there.
Oh
You
my
get
God.
Dallas defense in there and Dowdle. So I got Dallas defense, not DJ Dallas, Cowboys defense, Cowboys.
It's divine.
And Dowdle. This is a blowout. The running game goes nuts.
And this isn't too wacky. We've seen both guys with 15 carries in the same game in blowouts against the Giants. It happened a couple weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's a blowout. The running backs, the defense go wild. You could even do the same version with Cowboys as your captain and both running backs in the flex.
I kind of like, if I'm using both running backs, I kind of like both in the flex. But yeah, I think this is viable too.
Yeah, so a lot of really interesting different approaches to this. I think the most different way to build for this slate, Bobbywow, will be to not build for like Dallas onslaughts. And somehow Seattle keeps it close. They're scoring. It's like a weird game. Dallas doesn't come to play defense. Remember, I think it was a Vikings game where what game? What game was it? Where like they dominate? Basically, recently there was a game where I thought like a defense would dominate and they just played terrible. It might have been a 49ers game or something like that. And I was like, wow, it's a reminder. Or even on Thanksgiving when Detroit played terrible defense and they were a pretty good defensive team. And you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And this game went really different from what I was thinking. It's a Thursday and shit can get weird.
Who? Let me ask you this before we move to FanDuel. Who is your favorite second stack piece with Dak? Obviously, you got CeeDee Lamb. Who is the second guy you would go with?
I mean, it's Ferguson.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm with you. He's going to get overlooked tonight, I think.
Yeah. But again, I would say I don't mind. I do think you need the second one, so I totally agree with that. But I don't mind if it's
Dak's captain, yes.
I don't mind if it's Tolbert. I think Cooks is the hard one because if you've got Lamb in there, I don't see how Brandon Cooks gets there at 8K and Lamb gets there at 11.7. It's too much.
Including Cooks, Ferguson is the most balanced approach. Lamb and Ferguson, that's the most balanced. I think that's if you're playing cash, it's Dak, Lamb, Ferguson.
Yeah, and by the way, Mr. 5 Cent, fucking, you're in my brain, bro. I love that. But yes, that was the game I was talking about where I was like, our Vikings ain't going to do shit. And then they come out and they're doing well against the 49ers. And it's a reminder that the way you think this is the National Football League where everybody is pretty good. And so like what we think is going to happen, sometimes it just doesn't go that way at all. And like, I don't know why it happens. Is it because it's Thursday and the guys were out fucking partying last night? I don't know. I don't know why letdowns happen. One of the nice things about the NFL though, Bobbywow, those things don't happen as much in the playoffs, which is why I truly believe that it is just unpreparedness.
Yeah.
Teams play their best in the playoffs generally. So you don't have like a great defensive team just like kind of looking like sluggish and like shit. They play better.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, that's why I always like playoff DFS because you legitimately don't have to like account as much for turds like going off. That's weird things happening.
And again, it is a showdown. It is a 1-game sample size. Like we talk about regression a lot. The Cowboys are flying. They are as good as they've ever been on offense this season. And the Seahawks are the polar opposite. Like regression always hits hardest in a showdown game.
Absolutely.
In a single game. And so just keep that in mind as you build. Nothing is guaranteed on a showdown slate.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a brief look at the cheat sheet for FanDuel, and then we'll try to build a lineup here. So, whoa, that's a lot of captains. That's a lot of MVPs, Bobbywow.
That formatting got messed up. Woof.
This looks like the DraftKings side. So that looks like the DraftKings side. Hold on a second. There's no way. What's that?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. No, there's a way.
No, I'll jump over to.
Look, I got to throw some darts in there, okay? FanDuel, it's right. It's right. I was messing.
Oh, it was right. Okay. Yeah, I
I got to throw some darts in there.
So let's go over this. CeeDee Lamb, of course, 2-star. That's fine.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, I think, is the 4.5 star, and that makes a lot of sense too. It's like Dak and then everything else.
Yes. You can make the case for being all in on Dak on FanDuel.
Or Cowboys defense.
I don't know. I can't get there on FanDuel. No way.
Yeah.
But you could throw him in there. You could make the case for 100% Dak, though. That's all I'm saying.
Even a kicker could be made a case for in this game.
You were just yelling at me for all the MVPs, and now we're adding more?
I think these other guys probably can't. Like Metcalf, Charbonnet's not getting there, dude.
You're telling me you think a kicker will outscore Charbonnet and Metcalf tonight on FanDuel?
I could see it.
But you were like so sure of it. Like, no way. DK can't get there, but a kicker.
No, I'm saying like DK's not getting there. He's not getting there.
A turd hat bet for me. That a kicker does not outscore either.
Can we just do the turd hat bet
or
that DK's not getting there? Wait, that DK's not getting there? Why do I have to have the kicker in there? I say
you said kicker at MVP, and it's the same price. So you're basically saying you think the kicker is going to outscore DK Metcalf.
Give me defense and the kicker in that. Wow. I need both. I
hope not. I'll fall asleep. I can't do that. We need a better game than that.
I mean, it's a Thursday. It's
true.
Every game goes like this. Or have we not learned? Have we not learned?
We want to believe things will change. Okay.
No, they're not going to change. This is exactly the setup for Dallas defense scores 25. And
could you just see it though? Geno throwing like 3 touchdown passes.
Oh man, that would be
maybe even in garbage time.
I don't. That's why
I don't see it.
That's why Bobbywow is the man. Listen, I see probable things.
I'm not playing that. That is not an approach I'm taking. Okay. Give me overweight on Lockett and Charbonnet. That is the approach I'm taking.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I think we would agree that like the clear cut, oh my gosh, this is who you should play, is probably Dak here.
Yes.
Everybody else is just I don't want to tie with you. Listen, Geno Smith, he's a quarterback. You should play quarterbacks on FanDuel as MVPs. That's correct. It doesn't get to be a worse matchup than this, but again, Kirk Cousins destroyed this matchup for like 40 fantasy points against the 49ers. That's right. Thank you, Mr. 5 cents for reminding me. Like Kirk Cousins put up a monster score against the best defense.
It just stepping back a little bit, like if you were to put odds on Geno's ability to outscore a guy like Lamb or Charbonnet, Metcalf, Pollard even, that's some decent odds on that Geno could do it, because that's just what it comes down to, raw production on FanDuel. So don't sleep on it.
On that note, though, Tony Pollard, though, also a very strong candidate for your FanDuel MVP. If you needed another guy, always want those running backs on heavily favored teams. So Tony Pollard, certainly a good candidate for this as well. I would say Dak, Pollard, Lamb, Dallas defense, Geno. I'm including Dallas defense in there. Geno, gross, but whatever for Geno.
If Dallas defense is the MVP, I will wear a turd hat on Monday's pod.
If which one? Dallas defense.
Dallas defense is the MVP. I'll wear a turd hat on Monday's pod.
Any given Turds Day. You never know what can happen. All right. So in order to make a lineup work, we got to find some cheapies.
That's the thing. It's tough to play Dak and CeeDee Lamb and feel great.
17.5, 16K. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of salary for a stack like that. And so when you start with those two, you're pretty much already at 10K. Cowboys, Aubrey, Ferguson, kicker, Ferguson. Yeah. Ferguson really popping.
Yeah, he's too cheap on FanDuel. Even JSN, too cheap on FanDuel. I like him better on FanDuel than DraftKings.
It's really important to pay attention to the salaries on FanDuel. They are sharper at pricing their players this year than DraftKings is. So I like to look for these discrepancies and then compare the two sites to just say, don't let my mind trick me into thinking like Brandon Cooks is worth, 8K. And then you look here and it's like, oh yeah, you can get Brandon Cooks for 10.5, and that seems a little more appropriate, like the same price as the defense. You're like, that's a little more appropriate. That's as if he would be 6K on DraftKings or something like that. So down below this zone, do we even need to Do I need to venture? I guess you can get a touchdown from Tolbert.
I think there are. You can make. I don't know about him. I think you can make the case for Tolbert, DJ Dallas, Michael Gallup. You can make a case for. He's a guy that can catch a touchdown at 7,500. And it's gross, but Noah Fant. I mean, that guy has to do something at some point, right?
Yeah.
Make a case for a punt. That's it.
I think what you're doing here is you're touchdown hunting, and it certainly could happen that you hunt and successfully achieve a touchdown with one of these guys, and that's what it's going to take. But when you're touchdown hunting, that version of the lineup needs to, outscore like kickers and defenses again, which we'll see. Right?
Let's see how it plays out. Let's build one.
Yeah, let's build one here. So I think, again, the most obvious guy, I'm going to throw Dak up here. He's very expensive. Yeah. And so
put CD as well, just so we can get an idea.
If you put CD in there, you're now needing to take a sub 8K player significantly. So this now puts me in a category where I must have a Fant Tolbert touchdown.
Yeah, my gosh.
When you combine these two, you are going to be hunting for this touchdown, right? So
you could go JSN kicker, I think.
Nope. It will not work.
Ooh, woof.
Oh, actually, no, we're 8,300. So actually, no, I'm wrong. Here, hang on a second. That could work, like a JSN or a Gallup. Let me see if I can get
Jakey Fergs. If you get Jake Ferguson in there, that would be
put Ferg in here.
Ideal.
That's 87.5. The problem is, I have to go JSN and Myers. This is a lot. This is a lot of Seattle. I don't like it. Myers, you're getting the Seattle kicker. No Cowboys defense.
So why not go Aubrey instead of Myers?
You can't afford it.
Ferguson, Aubrey, and
it won't work.
JSN, yeah, it will work. I think it works.
95, 9K. Oh, it does work.
I think that's what I would go with.
If you need to, I guess if you need to stack Lamb and Dak, which makes sense to want to do it, this would be this would kind of be a way that it can make it work. And from here, I actually think you can switch JSN for you can just go touchdown hunting here. Dowdle, Gallup, Dallas, Fant. You just touchdown hunt with that last spot. I don't hate this. I don't mind it.
And just kind of prove your point too. I just want to come back to it. That 20 max point, right? This is the perfect scenario where you want Dak, commit to Dak, and then you can go touchdown hunting and not feel bad about it. Because that is, like, to me, the perfect approach to a slate like this. You've got Dak, who's going to be the guy. There are 5 viable options that could score a touchdown. Now you could cycle through them.
Yeah, touchdown hunting. That's how you want to do it. If Lockett, I'm going to answer this one. If Lockett is captain, does Geno need to be in the lineup?
No, I don't think so.
Even a captain. Lockett in the flex definitely doesn't need Geno.
On DraftKings, no. I don't think he needs Geno as a captain. He's not as expensive as we're used to, and that PPR, I think, is what would elevate him, not like, multiple touchdowns.
I would definitely not be playing Charbonnet over Breece Hall. Neither one has a great matchup this week, but why not go with the guy who... I don't know. I would go with Breece Hall. Yes, he's good.
I thought Breece Hall was good. He's kind of been disappointing.
Listen, how good can you be when your quarterback is the Sergeant Tim Boyle?
Okay, there is zero reason. There are zero circumstances in which Tim Boyle should be an NFL starter for any game. Zero. How is he starting?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson is 10 times better than Tim Boyle, at least.
You like that I came up with a nickname for him? The Sergeant.
He's so bad. That was miserable. I hope Jets fans are happy. I really do, because what a crazy move to run Zach Wilson out for Tim Boyle. I really hope they're happy.
I like the other guy on there. I can't remember his name right now, but Trevor Siemian.
Oh my!
He's on the Jets. Play some Trevor Siemian.
He got cut by the Bears, right? If a quarterback is cut by the Bears, that should be a death sentence.
To answer this one, dude, play Singletary, bro. Singletary.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tougher to me than Charbonnet.
That's not tough for me. You go with Singletary. Great matchup.
But isn't Damian Pierce back?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, that's
but
tough.
Singletary's playing like the Broncos. Sharp is going up against Dallas. That's not a team you want to mess with.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd go with Singletary.
Not as good against the run. Yeah, I think you're probably
I would
right.
go with
Singletary is safer.
Yeah,
I think Charbonnet has a better upside. So if you need a high score trying to beat someone, Sharp's my guy.
Yeah, there we go. So listen, this was a really good breakdown, and my takeaways are Charbonnet, like Dallas onslaught, but more importantly, Charbonnet, Lockett, little DJ Dallas, little taste.
Yes.
As your sort of pieces from Seattle, little JSN on the pay down. And just try to figure out on the Dallas side, there's 3 ways the game goes. I think the 3 ways, I don't think there's like this 4th way where Dallas gets dominated by Seattle. Like Dallas offense just looks like shit. It's certainly, or I would put that as the least likely. Dallas
that scenario is a slow slogging under game where everyone just looks rusty, and that to me is the closest we'll get to a Seattle domination.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see like Dallas offense could come out a little sluggish. They've been good and Thanksgiving, but like more likely than not, it's going to be one of 3 ways. One is rushing domination. Dak doesn't need to do much. They just dominate the game and finally allow Tony Pollard to take one over. Rico Dowdle gets there with Pollard.
I like that call. Don't be afraid to play both those guys.
Do not be afraid. What's Brandon Tan guy doing? He's getting a fucking sweatshirt. So he's won swag. He's on the wall of champions like 6 times already. I just want to know what Brandon's doing.
He's hot. He's hot, man.
But that's one. Number 2 is Dallas says YOLO. We're still throwing, and it just go bananas again. Dak to Lamb. Some other guy gets a touchdown, Ferguson or whatever. Dak runs one in. He goes bananas. I don't really think that's the way it's going to go, but that's number 2. I think the Pollard one is more likely to win us some money anyway. And then the 3rd version, and of course you can get the, Dak goes nuts, but it's like 2 Brandon Cooks. He gets you there. But the one version I don't really see one of is like where Seattle dominates the shit out of this game. Metcalf and Lockett are going nuts. Sharp's in there. I don't see any reason where I would say that's going to happen.
Yeah, I will not have those 3 together in any single lineup. Yeah, to me, Sharps and Lockett on the Seahawks side, mix in JSN and DJ Dallas a little bit. That's where I'll be on the Seahawks side. And then we covered it on Dallas.
Can't wait to build these lineups, guys. I want to hear about your 20 max and your choice for captain. Let's find out afterwards. But I hope I hope I didn't steer anybody, or we didn't steer anybody to one versus the other, because the way this works the best is if everybody's choosing a different captain, and then like after the thing, you're like, dude, I did it and fucking picked X and it won, and here's my screenshot. It's amazing, and I can't wait to see it. So let us know again who your pick is in your 20 max. One guy. Everybody knows the rules. Wait a minute. One captain. Everyone knows the rules. I've heard that before somewhere. I can't remember where.
You really can't remember where?
I know where. It's
okay. So, before we go, favorite touchdown score tonight. Who you got?
To score a touchdown?
Yeah. Let's go one safe, one this guy's going to score, and then one, it'd be a little juicy.
The safest is Lamb, but I would go Pollard.
Okay.
What about you?
I think you're right. I think I'm going, if I'm going on the juicier side ish, I'm going Ferguson and Lockett.
Oh, I like it. Ferguson to score a touchdown.
I think Ferguson catches the touchdown pass tonight.
I like it. And Lockett. Don't ignore Bobbywow. Do so at your own peril.
Wow. They really gave you a lot of space.
Right there. All right. That's going to do it. Good luck tonight, everybody. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboard. Subscribe, notify, bell.